You'd think I'd... A thousand pardons, but the battle reeve requires your prompt appearance at the Proxy Queen's court.
Wherever could that blasted mercenary be?
The rune is working perfectly. It's almost as if I'm standing right next to you. I can feel the powerful magic that permeates this place. I sense a Daedric influence, but something that's far older than my Prince Bathala. The Maestro's notes said the ancient words were etched into a massive stone. I expect you'll need to travel deeper into the forest to find the exact location. I can't translate the words the Right Master heard until you find that stone. I'm not your tour guide. Just pick a direction and start walking. Wait a moment. The Maestro's notes. Refer to the book and use the rune again when you locate the ancient writing.
Rugged individual, obviously well-traveled. Yes, you should do quite nicely. Are you available for hire? I need an escort for an expedition. I expect we'll encounter some... Put simply, I found records of an ancient temple, somewhere in this very forest. I've come to study what secrets it may hold. Travelers become lost, sometimes for days. From what I heard, the forest appears to shift as you move through it. We'll need to keep close together. So, want to help me unlock an ancient mystery? I must say, thank you for accepting my offer. I'm quite excited to be heading my own expedition. Usually I work under Tellinger, the artificer, but sometimes he's a bit much. It's nice to finally be able to break free. Oh no, of course not. The Mages Guild still requires me to accompany him on his expeditions. I've just taken a short sabbatical, is all. As soon as I finish my research here, I'm sure I'll be off on more hair-raising adventures. Well, being Telliger's assistant is informative in many ways. But I think now's the time to prove to the Mages Guild, and to myself, the ruins within Ebon Stadmont are ancient. Perhaps even built in the Merethic era. They contain inscriptions of a mysterious language, which only a few have begun to translate. It's old, even for a High Elf's perspective. I found translations of only a few phrases, and even those are sparse. An interesting topic for a linguist, perhaps, but as I said before, this forest is tricky to navigate. The pathways twist and shift as you... Not much. Even though one can see the temple through the trees, the forest has made all research near impossible. It most likely was a place of worship, now abandoned. The nature of this forest doesn't allow travelers to simply walk to the temple we seek. Someone must have used magic to accomplish this, in order to keep outsiders from entering. Luckily, the inscriptions here should guide us. It's old, even for a High Elf. Looking for inscriptions. Alert me once you see any gibberish carved into stone. Yes, this is exactly what we're looking for. Why, it's almost as if I can hear the words. Sel, Ra, and Yond. Eastern Temple? Daedra? I don't have time for distractions. Could you hold them off while I finish translating? The inscription indicates that the temple is further up. Quick, follow me! By Uriel! How did I end up here? Well, seems the rumors are true. Eben Stadmont truly does twist around you. Perhaps another inscription will help guide us. Aha! Now let's see. That voice again. Para Ekne. Past pathway? Daedra again? Ah, we don't have time for this. The temple should be just ahead.
Hurrah, Volisto, the past revealed.
There you are. Quickly, up the stairs. Take care of that thing before it takes care of us. Thank the stars. I think he's coming too.
Am I really an Aetherius? I didn't know they let your kind in here. We of the House of Reveries have no names, only masks. But you can call me Fletch, because I specialize in the art of the bow, see? Oh, my aching Eben Stadmont. I'm sorry, but I just don't remember. I must have come here with my traveling troupe, though. I wouldn't have left Relenthiel without them. Someone must have ambushed Daedra? Mara's elbow, that doesn't sound good. Could you help me find my troop leader, Maestro Forte? I need to walk. Forte! Is that you?
Fletch, what's happened? The whole troop is looking for you.
Grand Maestro Forte? Why, I had no idea you were in Ebon Stadmont.
Grand? Oh no, I'm simply Maestro Forte. Hardly worthy of the title Grand yet. It appears you've saved Fletch from the brink of death. It brings to mind the story of Temerian, who of course was saved by the Nereids of... Ah, but now is not the time for such tales. Tell me, what has happened? Daedra? I had no idea. Our watch did report some strange creatures prowling about at night, but I've heard of no other attack. The only thing of note I discovered within the temple is a glowing stone in its main chamber. I've yet to translate the stone's inscription, but it may be attracting... Excellent. Why don't you and your companion head to the stone? Just follow the path north. I'll escort Fletch to our camp and make sure he's seen to. We'll meet...
I know this is strange, but let's get to this stone. Perhaps it can answer some questions. The House of Reveries? In Ebon Stadmont? Why wouldn't I have heard about that?
Lenka, fall away. Future's door.
Did you hear it too? That woman's voice? At first I thought I was imagining it. Future's Door. A House of Reveries expedition I've never heard of. Grand Maestro Forte rebuffing his proper title. And the temple room where we found Fletch? It looked the same as the room we first entered, but there wasn't a cobweb or broken pew in sight. It means we ventured somewhere we never should have gone. The past. I know it seems far-fetched, but remember that stone we first activated? I thought the inscription referenced an event, but the past was a destination, not an occurrence. That's my theory, and I'd rather not explore further to find out. Affecting the past has far-reaching consequences. It makes me wonder what trouble we've already caused. But this stone's inscription indicates it should send us back to... I can't be sure, in all honesty, but we have to try. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in the past. This stone should lead us back to our natural time. All you need to do is keep that destination clearly in your mind. I'll follow right behind you. It is quite intriguing. Grand Maestro Forte is the head of Somerset's greatest acting troupe, the House of Reveries. But I've also heard tale that he's a great academic as well, though perhaps the research I've been using to help translate the language here came from an expedition that occurred around this time. Perhaps Maestro Forte wrote the very notes that led me here. I'll ask him, but I'd rather not have... Well, Fletch was very close to death, and I recall seeing bones in our present time, right where I found him injured. Most likely he was supposed to die. I'm almost glad I was so ignorant when I healed him. I don't know what I would have done. As I said earlier, changing the past has far-reaching consequences. For all I know, healing Fletch could have dire consequences to our present. I would have had to weigh his life against the potential impact of that change. Quite a somber thought. I've been hearing this voice since I first started translating these inscriptions. It must be some sort of magic. Oh, it is rather odd for a mysterious language to speak to anyone who reads it. The misdirecting... I'm not sure what to tell you. I do know that we have to return to our time, and quickly. This mysterious voice, whatever its motive...
Who's there? Guy it's you. Years and years, and I never could find you. And here you are, back where it all began. Looking as if you haven't aged a day, my friend. So the stone did send you to the future after all. I had feared the worst. That day I tried to follow after you and return to our original time. But the stone's magic faded. I was trapped within Ebbenstadmont. For decades, I'd been studying this language and desperately searching for a way out. But my path would always lead me back here. But I did it. I must stop myself from ever going back in time. I've been wasting my life within this cursed forest. The Southern Stone. That's the key to... Wait. Fletch! Ah!
I'm sorry, dear, but your role has been cut.
The temple. You must go back. Go through the temple. The Southern Stone. Bane away, Tendel. Those are the words. Stop this from happening. Take my...
And thus the play continues. I'll see you soon.
Such an effort to escape me. I suppose I have what I need.
Well, I suppose it's curtain call. You finally figured it out. Well, and Derwin figured it out, didn't she? But hey, you put all the legwork in. And here you are, just in time to stop our leading lady from ever performing her starring role. Ah, but did you kill me? Truly? Not even an accomplished healer could bring me back? And yes, I did take part in Derwin's final scene. Or rather, I will. All a matter of perspective there, you see. But she shouldn't have tried to cut the act short. And Derwin was the leading lady of our production. It was up to her to uncover the mysteries of Ebbenstadmont, to find the true potential of its hidden power. But she found a way to escape. Sadly, yes. And so my part must end as well. I put on quite the performance, though, don't you think? The poor, confused soul, the dastardly villain, the mysterious sage. But yes, our heroine should be just outside, if I remember correctly. After so many times around, though, I tend to lose track. I told you the very first time we met. I'm Fletch. I used to be a mere actor, but now I serve a greater force. I've served her for quite a while. What did Derwin call her? Ah, the Spirit of the Sanctum. An appropriate title as any. She rules over this forest. Don't bother asking me. Mostly because I have no idea. I would have died had the spirit not saved me. And it wasn't too bad. Oh, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I barely understand, and I've lived through it. And it's done now, in any case. You made sure of the language here, of course. You see, it's all rather tricky. Only mortals are able to use the language. That's what allowed you to travel through time after all. And Andelwyn was the perfect candidate to uncover its secret. Yes, all our heroine needed was the proper motivation. Andelwyn was trapped within the forest, unable to... What did Andelwyn call her? Ah, this... Don't bother asking me.
There you are! How did you get inside without me seeing you? We finally made it to the temple. Oh, I just can't wait to see what secrets are inside. The temple is a trap? What do you mean? A book? Why, this is my handwriting. I've been trapped within this forest for decades now. Trapped within the past. My face is filled with wrinkles. Something trying to... My goodness. This is all so hard to wrap my head around. Yes, I agree. You've gone above and beyond protecting me during this expedition. Though the details... I suppose I did succeed in this expedition. The notes you've given me are written by my hand after all. Though of course that me won't exist now since you've stopped me and I'm going to stop. I'm sure these notes will give me more details. The best thing to do now is share our findings with the Mages Guild. You know, it may be silly, but I suppose I came here to step out of his shadow. If I could be the one to crack Eben Stadmont, well, perhaps that would be enough. And then I was trapped in the past to serve a mysterious being. Oh, Tellinger is the one who makes brash decisions and puts us all in danger, and I'm the one who helps fix it. Yet as soon as I lead, I find myself in the same position as him. For now, I'd... Well, it is a lovely view, once you put aside all the strangeness.
Have you found the inscription? Not yet, but the inscription is nearby. I sense something else, though. Nocturnal's presence. Ancient inscription. You found it. Something isn't right. I feel... our connection breaking up. It's Nocturnal's Earl...
Now that Lathan's gone, we can talk freely. These words of power, they aren't meant for mortal eyes. As an Earl in the court of Bedlam, believe me when I say that Lathan isn't being totally honest with you. I wish to maintain the balance of power among the Daedric Triad. If Lathan translates this language and passes the secret on to his mistress, Mephala, she'll gain an advantage that could threaten my prince, Nocturnal. Speculate all you want. I'm here to present you with a gift. Nocturnal wants me to provide you with the meaning of the ancient words. It's in all our best interests for the Right Master to remember where the phrase the Right Master remembers. The one that repeats itself over and over. It's a spell to retrieve something hidden. When the time is right, he just needs to repeat the phrase and the heart's hiding place will be revealed. My mistress doesn't explain herself to me. And she certainly won't explain herself to you. I assume, though, since the heart was hidden by the Right Master, then only the Right Master can retrieve it. Artaeum is only as isolated as it allows itself to be. First, the Abyssal Pearl allowed the Sea Slode and Mephala to invade the Sidjic Island. Then you took Lathan, an Earl in the court of Bedlam, prisoner. We know your moves before you make them. Our princes plan to do away with the laws imposed by other powers. They want to remake Nirn, reshape it to better suit their every inclination. Of course, to do this, all obstacles must be cast aside, including the other Daedric. The court isn't evil. We wouldn't be a part of something that didn't add to the greater good. When our princes are done, war and sickness will be eradicated. There will be true peace and godhood for the court, as befits beings of our stature. I am a dark elf. A child of Morrowind who lost her way. Anger and despair almost overwhelmed me, until Nocturnal reached out to comfort me. The Night Mistress filled me with new purpose, and gave me something greater than myself to believe. While it's true that the court consists primarily of High Elves, who believe their birthright is the key to godhood, I am not so naive. Nocturnal selected me as her Earl. She taught me that loyalty is the path to ascension. And my loyalty is strong. Our princes plan to do away with the laws imposed by... Tell the Right Master, it's a spell of retrieval.
Finally! I've re-established my connection to the rune. Tell me what Nocturnal's Earl said to you. I can't believe Nocturnal's Earl interfered like that. We're supposed to be allies. Why would she want to stop me from reading that ancient... A spell. Interesting. And somehow connected to the Right Master's forgotten hiding place. I wonder why Nocturnal decided to share this information. She isn't usually the most forthcoming of the court's esteemed princes. Right. I told them to interrupt my research before I could unravel an ancient and powerful language. Look, I just wish I could have spent a few moments studying that inscription.
Oriandra, you should have consulted me beforehand.
She saw an opportunity and she took it, Tychesis.
Silence, Lathan. Need I put you in chains to remind you of your status here?
I'm sorry, Right Master. We should have asked permission. It won't happen again.
This escapade of yours could have been disastrous. What were you and Oriandra thinking, trusting Lathan to help us translate the ancient language? Now nothing you discovered can be trusted. We're back to square one. I observed what I could through Lathan's connection, but it seems to me that the Court of Bedlam is just trying to confuse us. What do you think? Should we trust Nocturnal's Earl or not? Then we're no better off than we were. Except now we have the Golden Knight. Let's proceed and hope for the best. Perhaps I'll remember more after we use the portal. Go outside and retrieve Darien, then meet me in the Dreaming King. No matter whether Nocturnal's Earl spoke truth or lies, we need to recover the heart of transparent law. I'm sure I hid it somewhere beyond the Daedric barrier. Was there anything else before you go and check on Darien? I remember I tried to resist the Sea Sloat's compulsion, and was able to maintain a sliver of control. I remember using what control I still possessed to foil Katora's plans. I recall forging a... That, my friend, would be a mistake. Somerset's ancient defenses have withered since the transparent law crystal was broken and the heart removed. Every moment the crystal tower remains incomplete, another protection falls away. I'm sure that it is. But in that certainty, we gain an advantage. You'll be at my side when we locate the heart, and you'll be there to help me defend it from the Court of Bedlam. I remember I tried to resist the Sea Sloat's compulsion.
Your wounds, they're just gone.
I've always healed fast, Val. I can call you Val, right? Give me a moment. I'd like to chat with our friend.
Of course. Then go to the Dreaming Cave. The Rite Master's ready to begin.
I wanted to thank you again for getting me out of Mephalah's realm. Wasn't anything like I originally imagined. Oh, and I wanted to let you know that I was able to repair the Dawnbreaker. The sword's power should allow us to breach the barrier. No thanks to the Psijic healers. I thought they were gonna slice me open to try to figure out what makes me... well, me. I'm glad you stopped by, though. I wanted to talk... This might sound like a strange question. In fact, depending on how you answer it, it is a strange question. Do you remember me? I'm not talking about here in Somerset. I mean, from... You don't remember me? I was afraid of that. Meridia told me that time worked differently in Oblivion, but I didn't believe her. What's happened to me hasn't happened to you yet. That doesn't matter now. What matters is I found you. Meridia told me about the triad of Daedric princes, and she told me about you. Even sent me to help you defeat them. Of course, she conveniently forgot to tell me how to do that, and she stopped responding to my request. Not everyone gets a choice about the battles they fight. My prince... she's all right, but she's not big on free will. I wanted you to know that you aren't beholden to a higher power. Fixing the Dawnbreaker was surprisingly easy, by the way, especially considering that I had never repaired a Daedric artifact before. Questions? Not like a test or anything, though, right? Tests give me a rash. I wish I knew the answer to that. I remember my father well enough. He was a Breton, but I never met my mother. Meridia only ever told me I was her vessel. I can't say I remember volunteering for that job, though. I have her magic inside me. I've had it all my life. I can feel it. Who I am, what